Hey, don't waste food.
Yeah, did you know that food waste accounts for about 11% of the total waste generated annually in Singapore, and only about 18% of it is recycled, with the rest being incinerated?
Oops, Semakau landfill is used to store the ash produced from incineration, and it's projected to fail at 2035 instead of the original projection at 2045.
There has to be a better way to recycle food waste in Singapore so that it does not end up as pollution. Actually, I came across an online masterclass that is happening soon. It will be on the topic of food waste management. How about we all attend the masterclass together to learn more?
Sure, let's do it.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me? I know all of you are very shy and it is very early in the morning. Just let me know by sending me a message if you can hear me. Okay, it seems like you guys can hear me. Thank you, Jefferson, for letting me know. Hi students, welcome and thank you for coming for today's masterclass on innovative food waste management. I am Prof. Zachary, and some of you might know me from my CC6 classes. Today, I would like to introduce you to an innovative way of handling food waste that was invented by your fellow schoolmates in NTU. Before anything else, let us first zoom into the Singapore landscape. As you can see here from the Research, Innovation and Enterprise Plan, the Singapore government has been consistently increasing its spending in the R&D aspects, which also includes support for research done in local universities. In RIE 2025, the Singapore government sustains investments in research and development at about 1% of the nation's GDP, which is approximately $25 billion. Due to such a supportive and conducive environment for R&D to take place, Singapore ranks 4th in the Global Innovation Index 2024. And its local universities continue to achieve breakthroughs in their research. And one such commendable breakthrough will be NUS's breakthrough in coming up with a decentralized anaerobic digestion system. Anaerobic digestion is a process where microorganisms break down organic material in the absence of oxygen, resulting in the production of biogas, as well as a nutrient-rich organic fertilizer called digestate. Researchers from NUS have implemented a decentralized anaerobic digestion system at East Coast Lagoon Food Village, where food waste from the hawker center is fed into the system as feedstock. Inside the anaerobic system, food waste undergo microbial breakdown in an oxygen-free environment, forming biogas. Subsequently, the methane-rich biogas is fed into the biogas engine that is connected to the system to generate electricity to not only power the digester itself, but also other nearby devices, such as mobile phone charging ports, as well as the fans in the hawker center. In addition to biogas, the system also produces a nutrient-rich digestate, which can be used as fertilizer for landscaping purposes. This case study was the exact same one that I showed to my CC6 class a year ago for their project assignment, where they were tasked to improve this food waste management system. And a group in my class called Green Day was able to come up with a rather innovative and practical solution to improve this system. And today, we would like to walk you through the thought process, hopefully to inspire all of you here to make an impact on the society in the future. Firstly, the group thoroughly analyzed the case study given and identified the limitations of the current decentralized AD system that NUS has. From their research, they have found NUS's system to be economically unfeasible due to insufficient methane yield as a result of excessive ammonia and hydrogen sulfide levels, which hinders microbial activity, as well as operation inefficiencies due to the high operating costs for maintaining optimal conditions for the digester, which includes removing harmful hydrogen sulfide from the system using chemical scrubbers and activated carbon filters that requires costly and regular maintenance. Upon identifying the gaps in the existing solution in Singapore, the Green Day team was determined to dive deeper into optimizing the AD process in Singapore, which had led them to China, which has an extensive and well-established AD system. For context, China consistently ranks as one of the largest contributors to global food waste, generating approximately 91 million tons annually. But thankfully, China was able to see success in diverting 74.3% of its food waste to its well-established anaerobic digestion system, which Green Day saw as potential as well as possibility for Singapore to adopt the same method to handle its food waste. Although the AD system in China is relatively well established and widely applied across the country, China continues to improve and innovate its system to achieve better process optimization, which is crucial to maximize biogas production and ensuring a more stable operation. The team has discovered that China has made attempts at improving the AD process through multiple techniques, such as substrate pretreatment, microaeration, specific enzyme addition, as well as bioaugmentation. Through Green Day's thorough comparative analysis, they have concluded that microaeration is the most promising strategy to adopt since it is more economical and environmentally friendly, where it can be integrated and performed on-site in our decentralized AD reactor in Singapore and requires only a limited amount of oxygen. Now, you might be wondering, what is microaeration? Microaeration is a technique that is used to optimize the AD system, where small amounts of oxygen are introduced into the digester to promote the activity of sulfur-oxidizing bacteria. These bacteria break down the harmful hydrogen sulfide in the system, which helps to improve the quality of the biogas produced, as well as improving the methane yield. Now that I've given you a brief overview of the anaerobic digestion system and microaeration, I would like to invite my special guests for the day, Nelson and Prada, who are the current members of Green Day, and they will walk you through on the technical aspect of the anaerobic digestion system as well as Green Day's solution.
Thank you, Prof. Z, for your kind introduction. Hi guys, I am Nelson, and I will be taking you through the AD system in detail. Before we begin, allow me to show you a video on how do we transform food and organics into energy. Firstly, materials are shredded to increase surface area for the microbes to add on. Then, it is mixed with water to make a thick slurry. Next, the slurry is pushed into large digester tanks to produce biogas. Biogas is produced when bacteria is added to the slurry in an oxygen-free environment. The bacteria takes 12 to 14 days to break down the material, digesting it to produce biogas. The biogas collected is then cleaned, compressed, and sent to a CHP turbine plant. The plant then transforms the biogas into electricity and heat. Some of the electricity is fed back to power the plant, but most goes into the national grid. The remaining slurry, aka digestate, is dried and can be used as soil conditioner or fertilizer. It has been observed that most successful AD systems worldwide, such as the one shown on the left, are centralized and can hold up to 100 meter cube of food waste. However, in a university context, centralized systems can result in high operational and maintenance costs, which is why we took inspiration from the NUS project and decided to implement a decentralized anaerobic system in NTU as shown on the right. Its biochemical process happens in 4 stages, which is hydrolysis, acidogenesis, esteogenesis, and methanogenesis. The first step is hydrolysis, which is where bacteria convert complex food waste into simple soluble compounds. The second step is acidogenesis, which is when fermentive bacteria further breaks down soluble compounds into volatile fatty acids, or VFAs, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen. The third step is acetogenesis, which is where these compounds are further broken down into hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and acetate. The last step is methanogenesis, where Archer, which is a type of bacteria, further converts the hydrogen and acetate into methane and carbon dioxide. However, we find that when food waste containing high oil, salt, and protein are inputted into the digester, the hydrolysis and acidogenesis process is not stable due to quick accumulation of VFAs and LCFAs and ammonia. This is another issue we have tackled in our solution. Now I will hand over my time to Prada to talk about our solution.
Now, researchers in the past have developed various measures to circumvent the formation of VFAs, like adding metal cations, natural absorbents, or co-digestion substrates into the slurry. However, each of these solutions comes with its own share of problems. Like for example, the metal cation itself can react with the microbial environment and again hinder biogas production. This is why our group chose to focus on a more recent technology called microaeration as a way to improve biogas production efficiency. Like Prof. Zach mentioned earlier, microaeration is the process of introducing regulated amounts of oxygen into an anaerobic environment to encourage the microbial environment. So basically what the oxygen does is it facilitates the growth of reactive oxygen-consuming bacteria that work along with the anaerobic bacteria to speed up the digestion process before the food waste starts forming VFAs and LCFAs in the hydrolysis stage. There are currently 3 researched ways to introduce oxygen into the AD reactor. First is by introducing oxygen in the food waste substrate before it is even inputted into the reactor. This is not very ideal as there is no way to monitor and regulate the actual oxygen efficiency in the reactor for each cycle. The next is intermittent microaeration, where there is an oxygen tank connected to the reactor that introduces oxygen in predetermined intervals. This also is not beneficial as it is not capable of adapting to the microbial environment's requirements inside by monitoring the redox potential. Finally, there is the persistent microaeration technique, where both the oxygen pump and the redox potential sensor are connected to a monitor that is able to introduce oxygen as and when required and in the quantity that is required. This is the technique that is the most efficient and beneficial, so our group chose to go with it for our microaerated decentralized AD system. Let us now look at each byproduct in depth and understand their uses. The digestate is a solid byproduct that is made up of dead microbes and indigestible material that is technically the waste of the digestion system. This volume of digestate produced is about 90% of the total food waste inputted. This digestate is rich in nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus, which makes it an excellent synthetic fertilizer alternative. In an NTU context, this digestate can be used as a fertilizer in the various planting initiatives and rooftop gardens alongside the urea fertilizer that is already being used by the university's research center. The other byproduct is biogas that is composed of 60% methane and 40% carbon dioxide. The average biogas yield in a traditional AD is 82.83 liters per kg of food waste. This number improves by 18% post microaeration, which translates to a greater energy production from the same amount of feedstock. An important point to note is that our group proposed the use of an engine generator with the efficiency of 32% to improve the conversion to a total of 26 watts of energy. This electricity can be used to power the fans and lights in canteens as well as mobile charging stations. Therefore, we can conclude that the microaerated decentralized AD system is a very attractive solution to food waste management. Here is some food for thought for you. What do you think are the existing implications and limitations of the AD system? I would greatly appreciate it if you go back, research it and then write to me and Nelson via email so that we can understand your take on the AD. With that, we come to the end of today's talk. Thanks Prof. Zach for this opportunity. You may now leave the Zoom meeting.
Guys, remember the masterclass on food waste management which we all attended together? What are your thoughts about the solution?
Oh yeah, that was so interesting. The solution is beneficial environmentally as enhancing food waste recycling is greener than landfilling, as landfilling creates a larger greenhouse gas impact due to methane gas potency. It's aligned with Singapore's zero waste master plan's aim to raise the national overall recycling rate to 70% by 2030. Adding microaeration also improves biogas quality by increasing the methane yield while reducing harmful byproducts like hydrogen sulfide. This aligns with the SDG 7 of affordable and clean energy. Biogas from the AD can be captured and used as a sustainable energy source.
Moreover, the biogas captured can be used for renewable energy to improve NTU's energy circularity. This improves its operational efficiency while reducing its overall carbon footprint, which is in line with existing efforts like the Waste-to-Energy Research Facility and solar panel implementation. Also, the digestate conducted can be served as fertilizer to support NTU's existing gardening initiatives like our community herb garden. Furthermore, each digester can double up as a sustainable education learning site for environmental research, creating fresh opportunities for student engagement.
Right. But still, the anaerobic digester system has its own limitations. The biggest one is initial costs. Installing the digesters would be expensive, especially with microaeration tech. It's not just buying the system, but also setting up the infrastructure for waste collection, biogas storage, and also managing the digestate.
Fortunately, NTU has done pricier projects like the Waste-to-Energy Research Facility, right? Given the many benefits and scalability of the solution, it's not impossible to get the budget for this.
Though the upfront cost is high, it can break even in the long run. Once the system's running efficiently with the microaeration, it will start paying for itself with the savings from energy production and lower maintenance.
Exactly. But to deal with the high initial costs, they could implement the system in phases. Like start with digesters in a few locations that generate the most food waste, maybe some of the bigger canteens, and then expand as they see results and manage the budget. That would spread out the cost over time, so NTU isn't committing a ton of money all at once, and they can adjust as they go based on performance.
Plus, NTU could look into government co-funding schemes like the 3R Fund to help cover the cost of installing the system. It would lower the financial burden even more.
Plus, with external funding, it becomes even more feasible, so even with the limitations, there's a good path forward. In conclusion, the two case studies reveal that microaeration is a more feasible method for food waste management since it increases the yield of biogas obtained from food waste, which is then converted to electricity. The digestate produced can also be used as fertilizers for plants.
Based on our discussions on the impacts as well as pros and cons, we think that the benefits outweighs the limitations, and we feel that NTU should pioneer this solution in our canteens.
Yes, they should also track and record important data like the total amount of food waste generated and the total amount of food waste recycled. We can aim for 70% of food waste being recycled to work towards Singapore's zero waste master plan. Perhaps this solution can be integrated in all food courts and hawker centres in Singapore to increase the amount of food waste being recycled.